Welcome back to GAA Fan TV. Derry 2-15, Meath 1-7. Derry have beaten Meath in Owenbeg quite comfortably in the end by a scoreline of 2-15 to 1-7. A comprehensive result for the Oakleaf County in the end. What is that? An 11-point victory over Meath. And it was a game that, to be honest, was probably, all but over really after about 5 or 10 minutes. I mean, Ethan Doherty got an early goal. Shane McGuigan scored a point. Patrick McGrogan, I remember, got a score as well. And yeah, look, it was a strange one really watching that game, because it was tough conditions, it was hard conditions, and it was tough for either county to really get grips with the conditions. And even the cameras, the RT cameras, struggled at times to even show glimpses of that game because the conditions were quite tough. And you can see Derry, they're obviously used to playing in Owenbeg week in, week out. They know how to play in that stadium. They're probably used to that conditions. Whereas Meath really, really struggled. And you could see even in the second half that, they were struggling to sort of play simple passes and sort of get grips with the game. And Derry just, I think this was a case of, if this was the opening day of the league, you'd look at this and think you're quite worried about Meath and you're quite worried about maybe where they're going under Colm O'Rourke. But I think this is just one of those games that, from a Meath perspective, you need to write off. You need to just sort of look past it, look at, poor enough today without question about it. But even in saying that, I think it was more that Derry were just so good. And I even think Derry can play better as well. Like, that's the funny thing, and I think Derry could have been playing anyone in the country today, and I think they would have beat them. I really, really do. I think they're, like at this level, to be at this level, at this early on in the league, they were just really, really impressive and starting fast, cutting Meath wide open with that early goal from Ethan Doherty, who was outstanding, man of the match for me, scored 1-2. And Derry were just fast, they were quick, they were playing the ball quickly, they knew who their target men were, and defensively as well. Meath just couldn't stand a chance. And you knew that Rory Gallagher was going to do his homework. You knew that he was going to see that Meath have scored 7 goals in the last 2 matches coming into this game and have struggled to score points. And that was certainly the case again in this game that was a case where Derry really addressed that, and Meath struggled to get in behind. They look caught between playing, sort of a long ball inside the square or trying to kick it inside, which was something that served them so well against Cork and also against Clare. But Derry were just dog wide and very, very aware to what Meath were bringing. And Meath just looked a little bit lost out there, and it looked like men against boys in more ways than one. And I think that's testament to how far along Derry are under their development under Rory Gallagher. And it's probably just a case that under Colm O'Rourke and for Meath, who, obviously they were missing players today. Shane Walsh wasn't playing. A few other lads maybe missing as well. So it was one of them things where from a Meath perspective, they were missing players and just not quite at that level just yet. In saying that, I think they'd only kicked about 3 or 4 points after about 50 minutes. Like, that's not really good enough, even with the conditions. And I think Meath, as a county and as a footballing team, should set higher standards for themselves. But at the same time, you would look at it and think Derry were just very, very good. I mean, to a man, like in midfield, Conor Glass was very good. Brendan Rodgers was outstanding. Padraig McCrogan had a very good game. Young Owen McAvoy in a fullback, I thought, dealt with, a lot of the threat that was going in there. He was picking up Donal Lenihan from what I can see, and we've seen Donal Lenihan score 2 points. But even at that, he struggled to get service. And what was interesting, even in the first half, Meath only created 3 scoring chances in the first half, but converted all of them, So it wasn't even like Meath's shooting was poor or, they were lacking composure up front. Even at times early on in the first half, you could see the confidence was there with Meath. But I think maybe they just didn't create enough. They didn't take enough risks. They didn't go at the throat of Derry enough. And when they did, Derry just had an answer. And I think that was probably the main difference. And when Derry get that second goal right before half time, I mean, they have the ball for about a minute, before the ball eventually goes in the back of the net. And Niall Toner with a brilliant finish, great bit of work by Paul Cassidy, or by Paul Cassidy, who had a very good game as well. In fairness, 3 points from him, another young up and coming player to come through these Derry ranks. And comprehensive, comfortable from Derry. I mean, they're the favourites to get out of Division 2 alongside Dublin. And, you know, looking at how this division is opening up, Dublin beat Cork tomorrow. You can see Dublin and Derry sort of running away with it realistically and running away with the promotion race. And, you know, I think both of those two counties could have promotion wrapped up with a game to spare, to be perfectly honest. So, and yeah, look, from a Meath perspective, you know, you don't want to panic and you don't want to be pushing the panic buttons or anything like that. I could see a result like this coming. I think I said in my preview that I fancy Derry to win comfortably, maybe not by 11 points, but I did see a comfortable result coming for Derry just because they are, you know, they're looking very, very strong and very, very good at the minute, make no question about that. And Meath just need probably a bit more time under Colm O'Rourke, but this probably was maybe a bit of a reality check as well, in the sense that, you know, physically, I think they need to improve quite a bit, and maybe in terms of mixing up their game plan, I think that's something that they might need to work on as well. Keane says Derry are deserving winners. Owenbeg is a fortress for them. They were in total control from start to finish. Meath never really got going. Derry are favourites to stop Division 2. Poor stuff is what Tom says. Yeah, like it was definitely poor enough from a Meath perspective, and it was a fairly dead game, wasn't it? Even in the second half, you were sort of tuning out of it. You know, Meath put up not really a bit of a fight, but they got themselves a goal from Thomas O'Reilly, and was a great catch actually, and a great turn, I think, from Jason Scully, who then played it into Thomas O'Reilly. Like Ronan Jones scored a wonderful point with the outside of his boot. It looked. I'd like to see. I would have liked to have seen a replay of that, but yeah, like, you know, Meath can't really take any positives from it. I think it's just a case of, you know, dust yourselves down and get on with it. You play Louth next week, you win that, you're definitely safe. And look, if Derry or Dublin slip up along the way, Meath want to be the ones to catch them. You know, if Dublin lose to Cork tomorrow, it blows the promotion race wide open, and Meath are still very much in the hunt. So, you know, I think for Meath, they need to go out, beat Louth next week, beat their rivals, their neighbours, and then whatever happens after that is a bonus, you know, because I think first season for Colm O'Rourke, bound to be bumps in the road, and this will certainly be a massive setback and a massive reality check. But as I said, I think Derry are looking very, very strong, and you know, I think they're contenders for the All-Ireland this year. I really, really do. It might be early on in the league, and maybe the only thing that might catch them out is injuries, or maybe some, you know, burnout of some sort. You know, Conor Glass playing week in, week out. Like, he hasn't had a rest since, you know, like he played all the way up to the All-Ireland final, then played a week later. It's kind of madness, really. But that's the only thing maybe that could catch them out. But in saying that, they're looking very, very strong, and they might just win every game in Division 2. You know, I certainly, at this moment in time, look at how good they're looking, and Dublin have looked a little sluggish early on. Obviously, a couple of weeks still to go before they meet in Owenbeg as well. But Derry might beat us. They might just beat us, you know. But yeah, big result for Derry. Promotion very much on the cards for them. Reality check for Meath, but certainly, you know, I think going out next week and getting the victory, I think, is the main thing versus Louth. Yeah, cheers anyone who tuned into the stream. Hit the like button and subscribe. We'll be going live in about half an hour's time for a live watch along of Kerry and Mayo. Of course, massive game between Kerry and Mayo, as it always is. So make sure you tune into that one. And yeah, cheers anyone who tuned in. Like, subscribe. See you later.